Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions and Brave Kids Books, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. We're going to do that one brave word at a time around here. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the most amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called Brave Kids, Short Stories to Inspire Our Future World Changers. Before I introduce these amazing people to you, I just want to say a huge thank you to KJ Kashula, who is our lead author of Brave Kids. Kelly, your mission and idea to bring these amazing author experts together to not only write their stories, but write with this mission to help our kids feel and be brave. Thank you so much for bringing that idea to me and for the mission that you have. Kelly, you guys is such an amazing storyteller and artist and illustrator, and you are all, I can't wait to show you this amazing book. So I'm super honored to be running around in Kelly's world and really doing amazing things with Brave Kids Books. So today, I'd like to introduce you to a few of the authors. Eddie Ben Abraham is a world expert in the anatomy of your soul, channeling, conscious creation, and uses a powerful healing modality given to him by his entourage. With years of experience, Eddie guides his students to expansive levels of awareness. Lacey Ayon, did I get it right? Oh my gosh. Ayon, tell me, Lacey.
It's Ayon.
Thank you. Lacey Ayon is a mom who saw that change needed to occur in the world when she witnessed her daughter being bullied due to being spiritually awake, intelligent, and beating her drum to her own tune. So to make a change, Lacey was inspired by her daughter to write the short story, Blaze Outside the Box. I love that. Sarah Minicello is a trauma-informed advocate for children and adults globally. She's the author of The Secret Magic of Your Heart, which teaches children between 4 and 8 years old how to unhurt their hurt heart. Available on Amazon platforms in English and Spanish with more languages to follow. Samara is on a global mission to help children choose happy. And Susan Thompson has a heart for animals of all kinds, especially animals in need. Welcome to all of you today. I really can't wait to introduce you all to the world and especially these beautiful, beautiful stories you wrote. Eddie, you're going to start the party today. Tell us about the story that you shared in Brave Kids.
The story is about a kid who is faced with a challenge in school. And this challenge is something that is I put him I put him in a position so that he has the greatest, the scariest possible scenario that he can have, based on and utilize the whole story based on the hero's journey. And once he's faced with this, he has his father, his mother, and his sister to journey with him through this path, through this journey. Now, this story is packed with golden nuggets from a father who has two amazing teenage gems at home, and from being their father for so long and learning from them every day, and growing into the fatherhood role, I've put inside some incredible assistance for fathers, mothers, and the children themselves, so that they're able to incorporate these little nuggets in their daily life and what to expect and what to do and step up to the challenges in life in a better way and more conscious way, so that they're able to do this lovingly and joyfully.
So ever since I've known you and you've talked about your sons, I feel this from you, that you regard your kids as your teachers. And we talked about this a little bit in another interview, or it takes somebody with a certain level of awareness to look at their kids as the teachers, their kids as the wise ones. Do you feel that way? How do you think about that?
Definitely. They're the amplifiers of your life. So if you invest in your child with compassion, you'll get compassion. If you'll do it with anger, they'll give you anger. And whatever you do and however you treat them and handle them and guide them, whatever you do it, so long as you do it in a conscious and loving way and with a vaster, a wider range of spectrum of awareness, let's put it that way, they will come back with an increased level of wisdom to you. And there'll be their assistance to your challenges. So there will be times when you're going to be facing some challenges in life, and they're going to say, "Dad, you know what? You're going to be okay. I think you got this. We're proud of you, and we know you can do this." Or different things that they come out with and express themselves in those special moments where they just, you know what? I've done an incredible job, and I honor this. This is so incredible. I'm so grateful.
It takes special people to have these different perspectives on. I especially am grateful for yours, Eddie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Lacey, you're up next. Tell us about the chapter that you wrote for Brave Kids.
Okay. So I am chapter 14, and it's called Blaze Outside the Box, my short story. And it's about a little girl named Blaze who absolutely loves herself, but she has a hard time fitting in at school, making friends. So she doesn't wear a box like all the other little girls. And so it's the latest style. So the other little girls at school make fun of her, and they give her a box, and she really just goes home and she just really tries to fit in it. And she's struggling within herself, like, I really want to fit in, I want to make friends, but I really want to be true to myself. So it's really her stepping into her power and being honest with herself, following her inner compass, her inner truth, and saying, this is who I am. And by being myself, I can make friends that love me for me, and I can find my soul family, my soul friends. So yeah, that's what it's about.
I always get a visual of the box when I read your parts of your chapter, which cracks me up. I'm like thinking about this cardboard box that we would have when we were kids, and we would of course tear it apart, but we would take it up on the hill, which we had a grassy hill, and that's how we would do our sledding because it never snowed in California, right? So my boxes always became sleds. You always gave me that little visual when I read your chapter. But this is an important topic because this is when it starts. We start so early to think of our uniqueness as a problem and trying to fit into the box. What else do you want to say about that?
I just really think it's really important that us as parents really guide our children to really listen to themselves, listening to their truth and what's right for them. I know it's important, for us to fit in. That's how we first navigate, but it's really, really important to listen to that inner intuition and guidance. And if we can guide our kids in that way, that's really important.
I think about intuition a lot. I always say, "Oh, I wish I would have learned those things so much earlier." And we are all helping our kids with those skills so much earlier. And I don't know why I get so excited about that. Well, I know why, because of the power of that. So yes, really, really awesome. Lacey, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Samara, you ready to talk about your chapter?
I am. Thank you, Laura. My chapter is chapter 4, and it's called Catch Your Thoughts Before They Ruin Your Day. You will be meeting a little boy named Daniel who is struggling with some pretty bad thoughts. This chapter, though, it actually teaches children that they have the power to choose their thoughts, which are welcome to stay. So, when you had like a really, really hard day and you just can't shake something off and it's bothering you, and we've kind of like all been through that. So this is about like, I maybe you guys were, but I was not taught that I could decide to let my thoughts bother me or not. So it's super profound and so hard at the same time but my contribution to the Brave Kids Project is something that took me like 40 years to figure out. So if I can instill this power in these children, like at this small age, they're going to have amazing wisdom, probably more than their little minds can even like understand. But knowing that you have the ability to choose your thoughts can absolutely like propel these kids in their life and keep them from ruining days and make their days beautiful and fun. So again, something I wish I knew and I had it as a kid. So this is what I explore in my chapter.
I love it. I think this chapter is going to help so many people, adults and kids, because that topic is a good topic for everybody. You know, everyone has that example of a day where it's tough to shake those thoughts. So you're going to be speaking to the parents, the grandparents, the mentors, the caregivers, and you guys were writing for everybody who loves kids, whether you have kids, take care of kids, teach kids, you know, mentor kids. I think that's what's so awesome. But that topic, Samara, like, yeah, I wanted to read more of your chapter. I'm like, can you tell me more about that? Because I have that problem too. What else do you want to say about the thoughts in terms of, you know, how do you help a kid be conscious of that in terms of teaching them this principle? I mean, I know as an adult I could grasp it, but how are you saying to a kid, hey, you know that thing you're thinking? Well, just stop thinking it. You have control. I know it's not that easy all the time, but how do you do it?
Well, I think the simplest way is to teach them that they're having a thought. So that's first and foremost. We just kind of roll around, we don't even realize. And I think even what Eddie comes from the being in the conscious world. So just being able to teach them and then being able to help them verbalize what they're thinking and then flipping it around. So like in my story, I use an example with Daniel, who was about to go play his first big soccer game. And he was doing well, and all of a sudden he had this thought, like, what if we don't win today? And you know, his body, everything just sort of just started slumping, that whole thing. But the cool thing is that he learned this power. So then he's able to be like, wait a second, what if we do win today? And there's just this ability for us to like recreate something that, you know, could be absolutely beyond what we even thought it could be, just with the simple little flip of a switch. So I think just from a child's perspective, that's huge. I think when I talk to adults, it's a lot more about like, oh my gosh, I've been carrying around this thought for like 30 years. Like, how do I get rid of that? Or talk about how many days this has ruined. I mean, it's so real and so relevant to all of us. So there's a lot more behind that. I'm also a big fan behind I would say first and foremost, it's about like your body and where you're feeling and where you're emoting. And that's like a huge piece of it. And then your thoughts. But all of it together are just amazing skills to be able to master, you know, happiness and take better control of your life.
Well, I think you said it. You have to know you're having the thought first, and that was my first in this world. Is like, oh yeah, I'm thinking that. So I love that you said that. Thank you so much for being here. So we'll talk more to all of our authors in just a minute. We need to hear from Susie next. So Susie, tell us about your beautiful chapter.
Well, thank you for having me, Laura. This chapter, the kid that I talk about actually has 4 legs. I found out that there's a reservation over in Yakima, Washington that has wild horses on the reservation. And a lot of times they will gather up the mother horses, the mares, and leave the little babies behind. And the babies can be as old as like 1 day old, and they get left up in the mountains. And I can't think of anything that would need more courage than that. And my little Sundance in my story, not only does he have to be courageous, but he is the stallion of the little horses that are left behind. So he has to also be the leader. And he doesn't really get a choice. It's kind of done by nature. And so my story is about how he survives and how he helps the other foals, the little that have also lost their mothers, how he helps them survive and go on to have a happier life, and all the courage it takes for a little horse that has never been around people and never been around motorcycles or big trucks that come and gather them up, and all the courage it takes for them to just be able to survive.
So you are helping support a particular organization. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that place and your involvement in it?
Yes, Heartstrings for Horses is a rescue, and Heartstrings for Horses actually takes maiden mares, and they're under a vet care, and they will get these mares to produce milk so that they can capture the babies and take them and actually have a mare that they can nurse on. And if they can't do that, then what they will do is they make milk replacement, and they feed the babies out of a bucket. And the part of my story where Sundance learns to drink out of a bucket is very comical, and horses are comical that way. The rescue is out of Granite Falls, Washington, and they're just wonderful people, and they try to save these foals as much as they can. And I try to do as much for them that I can. It's a very beautiful place, and what they're doing is amazing.
I love the story. I love horses in general.
Beverly Bushart is the owner of that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I always love to, shout everyone out and just let the world know what people are doing in these different ways. And I love that your story is about that. So thank you. Thank you for being here, Susan. So I have this next question for all of you. And Lacey, I'm going to start with you for this one. We have this mission, to help kids feel brave, be brave, and there's a lot of reasons why they need those skills these days. But for you, why does helping kids be brave matter to you?
Oh, well, watching my daughter go through what she's been through was really hard, and that just really drove me to want to do that. Also, my own childhood, I think, as well. I just think it's a really important thing for children to be able to stand in their brave in the face of adversity, no matter what they're going through. It's just so important that we support them in that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, with an exclamation point to that. Do you have moments with your daughter where that's harder than others? I would imagine that's a yes, but why?
Give me more, Laura.
When I try to help my daughter be brave, it was about speaking up in much bigger ways than she was used to. She could learn that she could have a voice with her mom or her dad or maybe her brother even, right? Because that's the inner circle that it starts with. And I watched that go down a little bit, and I watched certain people react in certain ways, and I just was paying attention to what was happening in that dynamic. And for me, it was really, really important. But what made it hard, and this was my question for you, is in one instance, I would have to move against one person's opinion. I'm being very careful how I say this, to support my daughter. But the mission for me to preserve her voice, to help her feel brave, to help her speak, even though she might have been afraid of somebody's reaction or consequence or whatever, right? That was hard for me. And I'm looking to see if you had one of those moments where it was hard for you and why.
It was hard for me to see her get treated that way and then watch her self-esteem go down. It was very, very hard for me, and not to step in, but to let her be able to really kind of navigate that and then be there for her as well. Because I wanted to just empower her to really be able to get through that, but also be there at the same time. And then step in when I needed to. Yeah, that was hard.
And I love you all for being on the journey of awareness. Just recognize all of you for doing the different things you do. It's so hard sometimes. And you want to be doing and saying and being all the right things to help. And a lot of the times sometimes I'll just look at the sky and go, listen, I'm doing my best. I probably said something I shouldn't have said today, but under it, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to stay awake and aware. And I love all of you for doing that. Samara, how about you on this one? So why does helping kids be brave matter to you?
It matters so much. So as you mentioned in my bio, I'm involved in the trauma-informed industry, and my catalyst for that was actually for adults, and realizing that most all of the traumas started as a kid or influenced as a kid, and that we're grown adults making decisions using strategies that we learned as a kid. So just to start there. So then I'm going, wait a second, hold on. So I need to join forces with like-minded people. We got to help teach these kids and teach them to be brave and find their gifts and love themselves. And again, this ability to choose to be happy in any situation. And I don't care if you've hit rock bottom, you can get up, you can rebuild, you can transform, and it takes courage and bravery and support. So huge passion of mine to foster that in any way we can. I mean, this project has just been amazing and so inspiring. So we can help these children find the best versions of themselves, become the best versions of themselves, I should say, and just do amazing things in our world. So it started as adults, and then I realized, oh my goodness, let's go to the root. And then it just, went from there. And it's incredible. And to see the ability to be able to change these children and light them up and give them this inspiration that they can't find other places. It's just it's invaluable. It's amazing to be any part of that.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I love what you said there about kind of just waking us all up to how that started as kids if we had trauma. And now here we are trying to deal with some of that, but also be great parents. There's a lot there. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Susan, how about you on this one? Why does helping kids be brave matter to you?
Well, I believe that children are sometimes they get in situations in life where the only thing they have is their courage. And kids need to be able to know how to access that and how to use that in survival. And so many times I've learned by working with these foals that are so afraid, and you have to enter their pen and you have to go to them and try to get them to trust you and believe in you and know that you're not going to hurt them. And just seeing the reaction from the horses and how they really turn to you because they don't know any better, and that's all they have is their courage. And if kids can reach down inside themselves and as natural as a horse does, then they could use those skills to become, just a little bit stronger and a little bit braver. And I think that when kids are all they have is their courage, it's very difficult for them. And so we as teachers and these books that are coming out, teaching the kids how to be brave and how to reach down into their courage and do the things that are uncomfortable for them and still remain strong and remain just human, just remain as calm as they can be.
You're giving
So I
me
think that it's just because.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to
Go
cut
ahead.
you off. I just think you're giving me an aha moment there.
Okay.
Like we so often we just say, be brave, but we don't teach them how
Right.
or what that even means, And so you're just giving me a moment there. I think that's so, so important. But was there something there you wanted to finish?
Well, there's so many times in life when really all you have is your courage, and kids aren't in touch with their courage. It's these experiences and these stories that they hear that teaches them how to be brave and teaches them how to reach down into their courage and just do things that would be unnatural for them.
Yes, thank you. So, Eddie, what about you on this one? Why does helping kids be brave matter to you?
And one word is the future of the planet, or three words.
Yes.
And it begins with us. It begins with our parents. What do we teach our children? How do we guide them? Um, what do we identify in their behavior that needs assistance or their lack of um, emotional aspect that requires some, feedback? You can do it. Some little things, little nuggets here and there, little assistance here and there. And so I want to make sure that when I exit this game, I've done enough to provide my children and other children the tools for them to have a beautiful, happy, joyful, healthy life and successful. And if it starts with me, it starts with everybody else here. And each one in their own flavor, their own type of understanding and approach and advice and assistance, we can make this a beautiful planet. And it is going to be a beautiful planet. We're heading into a golden age. And the challenges that we're facing now is basically to untangle and undo what has been done systematically in the last 100 years. To dismantle the family unit, to confuse what a man is, to confuse what a woman is, to confuse what a mother is, mother, father is, and to bring that back to balance in a big way. It's required now more than ever before.
Definitely. Thank you, Eddie. It's a big picture, and it's a big responsibility. And again, just makes me feel honored to be here with you all, kind of playing in this sandbox and really understanding the things that matter to you all. Samara, I'm going to start with you for this next question. I'm coming around to all of you with here. What's that one thing you would like parents, caregivers, grandparents to know about how they can help their kids grow up to be awesome adults?
I think my message is just that you have a choice to be happy. It's truly a choice. So, yeah, that would be my one piece of advice. It's not easy and it seems simple. It's not, but it's real. You have a choice.
You have a choice to be happy. Yeah. That can wake people up. That's like, the question I love to ask, what else is possible here? Well, with awareness, you have a choice. And so, and it's like what you said earlier too, you have to know that you're having the thought first. That's the awareness. And it's such a game changer. So I love that answer. Susan, what do you want to add to that? What's that one thing you want parents, grandparents, caregivers, all the people that love kids and are helping kids? What do you want them to know about how they can help their kids grow up to be awesome adults?
Well, I think they need to talk to their kids about situations they're going to get into that are out of their control, because that's what life does to us and we get out of control. But they need to understand that no matter what it is, sometimes we don't have control over what happens to us, but we do have control of how we handle it. And they can get through it, and they can be better on the other side, and they can learn from it, and they can take those tools and go out into the world and know that no matter what life throws at them, they have the courage and they're brave enough to handle it and learn from it.
Yeah, I like that too.
So I would say encouragement.
Yeah, for especially that's life out of control. There's very little that we can control, maybe except for our own response to life. So it's good. I like that answer a lot. Thank you. Eddie, what about you? What's that one thing you want the caregivers of our kids to know about how they can help them grow up to be amazing?
I would like to say a couple of things. One is to continue what Samara said, and that is free choice. Free choice is the catalyst of life. Without choice, we're not going to be here. That's what spins the planet. And second is communication. I've witnessed so many times parents do not talk to their kids, do not communicate. It only takes a few minutes to make the effort to look into their eyes and say something. Whatever that is in your heart, just tell them, because they need to hear it and you need to speak it. Not until you choose that and actually do it, things are not going to change. Your child is still going to do the same thing. You're going to still be upset, and things are not going to work out the best way possible. And so communicate the same way you communicate to an adult. A child is an adult. Ever since you're a baby, you understand. So if you speak to them as you speak to an adult, with compassion, with love, understanding, clarity, everything will work out.
Yes, I think that's the one thing I go back to over and over again when it's not great to, think about what you regret, but that might be it for me, like that I didn't talk more about the things that were up in here all the time, that I wasn't like really speaking out. And I think that communication is a big deal. That can change everything as far as even how your kids look at you in terms of being a person, human. Is that you let them in on what's up there. So much up here all day long, right? With us adults. But we don't often speak it out. We think maybe we shouldn't, or we think certain things about that. But I think that's super duper important, Eddie. Lacey, how about you? What do you want to add to this one? What's that thing you want them to know?
Listen to each other. Listen, like Eddie said, communication, but listening to your children, they are amazing beings with so much intelligence. They have so much to offer us. Going forward, the children being born now are just so awake. A lot of them are, and just really listening to yourself.
I love that you said that. That's being said a lot lately. The children right now are more awake than ever.
They are.
Yeah. I think that is cool and exciting, and we need to recognize it. And then what Eddie said, to communicate, listen, communicate, listen, communicate, right? Like, well, of course, great listening is part of great communication. But I think that, I don't know, it feels exciting to me. I know that my kids are definitely, I've been talking about them that way since they were little. Like, whoa, who are you, little alien? Like, how did you get so wise so fast? Like, I don't know. It was different for me. But it's fun to watch that. All right, to everyone, I've got one more question for all of you today. And Susie, I'm going to start with you for this one. So this generation of kids is faced with a world that is much different than the one their parents and grandparents grew up in. We all know that. Things can feel very overwhelming and very scary at times for both the kids and their caregivers. What matters the most to you in terms of shaping this future for our kids?
Well, that's a good question. I think that children need to really get in touch with themselves and know who they are, and just grow up knowing that who they are and how they feel about things, and what kind of effects different things have on them, and just listen to themselves and get not really internalized, but listen to your internal self. And if there's something in your life that is not doing you well, then you need to be able to have the courage and be brave enough to change the situation. And sometimes kids will just go with the flow. And I don't think that's a real good thing to do for kids to do. I think they really need to deep inside themselves and know how they really feel about the situation that they're in, and then be able to voice it and be able to do something about it for themselves and not for the people that are around them.
This is making me think of when I was talking to Lacey a few minutes ago about that situation in my home. I really wanted to honor the anger, because I know when I was little in my situation, it was certainly not honored. It was quite the opposite. It was like, you go away. You can't have that. You can't be that here with us. It was very not accepted, right? And so you're just making me think a little bit about that, like when I know myself. But when I know myself and I know I'm angry, I want to talk to parents right now. Let them be. accept all of them, all of the emotions and all of the ways they be and express. And when you can honor your kids like that, I think you give the biggest gift. That takes work on your part, parent. It takes a lot of work, awareness work and healing work and all the things, right? And so thank you all for being people who have been doing the work for yourself, and that who are communicating to your kids and kids about these things. I think it's so important. Eddie, what about you? You know, what matters the most to you in terms of shaping this future for them?
Matters that we do it in a way that is rewarding to everyone. Meaning it's not neglecting one and offering the assistance to only the other. Meaning that we are a civilization that's moving forward together. Nobody's going to be left in a way or ignored in a way. And I want that to be important, to be the factor in terms of moving forward together, not some yes, some not. So even if you meet someone where you have the approval to speak with them, meaning children, with their parent next to them, may I speak with them directly? And you can say something that's going to be very beneficial to them. You can see it, and you see that the parent doesn't know it. That way, you can implement some new foundation for their understanding of how they see things, how they feel with themselves. And so basically share your knowledge, share your wisdom as vast as possible so that this moves better, quicker, and easier for everyone.
I like it. Yes. And I think it takes a little courage to do what you just said. And that's good to know about your own self, as if you're feeling whatever you're feeling about that, but it's important. Lacey, what do you want to add to this in terms of what matters the most to you in terms of shaping our kids' future?
For me, it is really staying close to the earth and staying close to the heart. Those are really important things during this time. You have to have a place to anchor into, a place to go to, and that is huge.
Staying close to the earth and the heart. I love that so much. Tell me more about if you were going to talk about staying close to the earth.
It's a place I always am able to come home to. Makes me feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. I feel connected and I feel happy. And it's something I've always done since I was a child. Yeah, it's the one place I can count on. I always have been able to. And I've raised my daughter that way too. We go outside, we visit the earth and the little insects, and we appreciate everything. And we know that we're a part of that. As well as with everybody else around us, we're all connected. So that's very important.
Yeah, I love that so much, especially in today's day and age of too many screens. Just reconnecting to earthing in all the forms that we can. Love the walks in the woods. Gosh, for me right now, we're, in the middle of spring here, the flowers. It's like just one quick look at one little miracle flower makes me know that there are so many miracles to be had, right? That's awesome. Thank you. Samara, what about you?
I think the fact that we're talking about brave kids, I think about the human experience, as we all have a different view, we all come with different things. I think about also from like the trauma informed space, like what is bravery, what is brave to one kid versus another, it's very different. And so I would just give like a very simple example that You could have a 8-year-old kid who was super nervous about asking a teacher for help, and then they finally like get the courage to go up and they ask for help, and the teacher's like, get away, like, what are you doing? Like, this is not the time, do not come up here right now. This you know, you should be asking for whatever they do, right? Whatever the response is. And the kid learns at that point, it locks into the nervous system and everything else, like, oh, I guess I can't, it's not safe to go up and ask questions anymore, right? And again, that manifests 20, 30, I mean, this goes on forever. So like, I think just the big picture of like, we all have a different human experience. We all have a different version of what is brave for us. And we need to like honor that and respect that and help people through. But I think our nervous system is just, it's the key to everything to get us to go to the next level and the next level and the next level. Because without like getting that under control and regulated, it kind of, you get that loss of control. And so that times a lot of people kind of becomes a problem. So if we could all just sort of, you know, focus in on ourselves and take those little bits of courage and take those little wins, and you know, it just will just have exponential like results, you know, for us. So anyway, that's my thought of just as far as being part of the Brave Kids project. This is like, how do we help these kids be brave? And it's like, what does brave mean to them? And let's take them through that, you know? So
Yes, you've given me this vision of going out to interview kids with that question. What does it mean to you to be brave, right? Because I love that you use that example with the teacher. I love that you use that example. It seems like such a small little thing, but man, you have a 40-year-old still triggered, you know, because
can't talk. Yeah.
it takes a lifetime sometimes to move out of that reaction that you have in you, you know, and heal that. It's so true.
Laura, can I add to that?
Please.
When I was little, I was taught, and not to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but I was taught that my feelings don't matter, and that what life is doing to me, it really doesn't matter. And I was just 5 years old. And now at 68 years old, I'm still struggling with that. So I think that we need to think about the fact that those little kids, you know, they're, like you said, it's going to take it into their life, and it's going to form how they feel and how they attack things in life. Because I still struggle with the things that happened when I was a child, and how, you know, people told me I can't be brave, and that, you know, I have to just accept what happens to me. And so it's very difficult. I think we really need to pay attention to what we're telling our kids, and how they can stand up for themselves.
Yes, no doubt about that. I think there are a lot of us working those kinks out still. And thanks.
Yeah, there was a movie that said, your childhood is something that you spend your whole life getting over.
I've heard that quote before. So I have a huge thank you to all of you today, really, for not just for saying yes to this project, for just being who you are in the world, and for being here to share it today in the ways that you did, writing your beautiful chapters, and really with that passionate energy for helping kids to feel and be brave, and really even explore what it means to them to be brave, to show them these ways, to give them that, how do I do this? You know, not just be brave. It's, well, here, this is one way that you can be brave, and giving them the perspective of all of the different ways. We need books like this with all of your unique voices. And I thank you for being willing to, you know, step up to that plate and do this together. I feel like we're very powerful, these hands that we've grabbed together to kind of move into the world with these messages together. We don't have to be, you know, just by ourselves anymore to do that. And you all have embraced that mission of mine to collaborate and expand the energy. And it's been phenomenal. So I thank all of you. And for our listeners today, you know, these topics are big, important topics. Maybe something that one of our authors said today really gave you the goosebumps or resonated in some way. please come down into the show notes after you watch, and I've hooked everybody up with their website and their contact information there. These are way more than books. They are communities of people who really care about you and want to help you move to the next level wherever you are. And in this particular project, wherever you are with helping a kid, being a parent, a grandparent, a mentor, a caregiver, that world, this is really so much more than a book. And I'm honored to be guiding this project with all of these beautiful authors. We also want to invite you to join our live stream book launch party. It's going to be on Saturday, May 6th at 11 Eastern. We're going to gather with all of the Brave Kids authors and be doing some fun giveaways. We're going to be on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page, where you can find the Zoom information to join us. And if you happen to be listening to this interview anytime after that date, just hop over to Amazon, because that means the Brave Kids stories to inspire our future world changers will be ready for your purchase, and we would love to hear how you liked it. Lastly, today, everybody, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Bye, authors.
Thank you, everyone.